So this is an Abbey GTS 420, going to take you around the van and show you how it operates. Hitch up procedure, jockey wheel and handbrake is all something we'll go through in person here on site. In the front locker, you have your gas regulator on the bulkhead and your 2 gas bottle tie downs. You can carry a maximum of 2 6-kilogram propane gas bottles on the caravan at any time. One connected, and you do need to make sure they are turned off when you are travelling down the road. On this side of the van at the front, you have your water pump connection. So you connect your water pump by simply pushing into the side of the van, or releasing by pulling out, as you just saw. And then you drop the filter end, or the pump end, or the pickup end, sorry, should I say, into your rack roll, as you can see here. You've got your wind down legs, wind down steadies on each corner of the caravan at the front, and they are there to steady the caravan and not lift the caravan. If you lifted the caravan with these, you could potentially damage the floor of the caravan, so you'd never lift the van with them. Got your Truma heating flue here, which you pop off very simply before you ever turn on anything gas-wise inside the caravan. So essentially it's the gas exhaust for the caravan, but like I said, you need to remove that cover before you ever turn anything on gas. Side locker here, your battery locker. As you can see, battery on this particular van ready to go, and your mains power lead connected in the side. So you've got mains power coming into the van, and behind that you'll see a red power switch for your motor mover, which I'll come back to later in the video. With your wheel nuts and the motor mover on this side of the van, the wheel nuts will be torqued before the caravan leaves sight, and like I said, at the end of the video you'll see the motor mover demonstration. Got your toilet flush tank here, which takes 3.5 litres of water and a cap full of the pink fluid prior to use. Then in the bottom you have your toilet waste cassette, which you remove by pulling the yellow handle up on the bottom and pulling the cassette towards you. The neck here turns out and the cap comes off. The cap is actually a measure for the blue fluid also. You've got a yellow pressure relief button on the back of the cassette, so you can depressurise the container while you're tipping the waste away, so it doesn't spit and splatter back at you essentially. And before you use the waste cassette, you need to put 1 litre of water in and a cap full of the blue fluid. Just behind the ladder here, they're actually washing the van at the moment, ready for you, but behind the ladder you can actually see the grey waste pipes coming out the side of the van. So you put your 2 bits of grey waste pipe in and drop them down into your waste master that you probably already have, as you've got a part exchange with the van coming in with this van, so you've got the grey waste pipes that drop down into the waste master. On the back of the van, on either side, you've got your wind down legs. We'll have one down for the purpose of handover, as you can see, to stabilise the caravan, but again, like I said, you never lift the van with those legs. On the door side of the van, you have the 2 fridge vents. So them fridge vents there are essentially there to allow hot air out the back of the fridge unit itself. And one of those will also be in play. Behind one of those, there'll also be a gas flue. Storage locker on the front side of the van that allows you access to underneath the front seating area. And you've got your gas barbecue point at the front also, with your other wind down leg. So as you can see, we're now on the inside of the caravan and all the water system is already filled, but I'm going to walk you through how that works in a moment. Main power for the caravan turned on, internal lighting turned on, water pump turned on, and battery voltage on this switch at the end here. And as you can see, the pump is on and ready to run. So to fill the water system on this particular caravan, you can come underneath the seat on the front right hand side. Please bear in mind the caravan hasn't been cleaned yet. We're just getting the video done, so it's over to you before the weekend. But as you can see underneath the seat there, you've got the yellow drain down valve for the water system. To fill the water system up, you need to make sure that valve is parallel with the floor. And if you were to drain the water system down for winter storage, you need to point that valve upright towards the bottom of the seat. Once you've got that valve in the position parallel with the floor, you can come over to each tap on board the caravan, open them all up on the hot side of the water heater. As you can see, it's all turned on and already warming up, as you can see nicely there. But no, so you'd open all the taps up on the hot side, on the sink in the kitchen, the sink in the bathroom and the shower. I'd advise you put the shower head on the floor when you do bleed the water system ready for warming it. And once you've got water running continuously out of every tap with the water pump turned on above the door, you can then shut each tap down and start warming the water on board the caravan. Now, to warm the water system on gas, you have a control panel on the other side of the van above the heater, which you very simply turn the outside dial of. The green light will appear behind here. It's a bit hard to see in the video because of the light, but that green light will appear to let you know that it is trying to ignite. If the red light appeared next to it, as it has just done now, it means it's failed to ignite. The reason for that being at the moment is we haven't got any gas on the van. To control the heat, once it has ignited on gas for the water heater, you've got a dial here between 30 and 70 degrees of water temperature. You would also need to use the gas system for boosting the water system while you're showering on board the van or washing up, etc., just to get that extra heat through the system. So it isn't just an electric system in some respects. The electric is only there to power the system until you've got the gas turned on when you need to boost it. So that's the control panel there. I'll put it back to the off position for now, but like I said, the green light will be the pilot light for that. Underneath the seat on the door side of the caravan, you'll notice you've got a couple of switches here. Top left hand corner is to differentiate between the 12 volt battery on the caravan, which you'd need to have on when you're on site for instance, and the 12 volt car mode, which you'd need to have on when you're towing down the road to use the fridge as a cool box or to charge the 12 volt battery on board the caravan. The top right hand switch is the space heater. You know, you can always leave this on, you don't ever need to turn that off, the same as the battery charger on the bottom left hand side of the switches. On the bottom right hand side, you'll see the one light that's not on at the moment is the water heater on the electric side of the water heating. So you can turn that on by simply pressing down the water heater switch, and that will allow the water system to start warming up. On that control board there as well, you've got your 12 volt fuses for the 12 volt systems on board the van, and also your household style trip switches with a test facility at the bottom left hand side. So that is your water heating control main control panel, and the 12 volt fuse and 240 trip switches also. To use the heating system on electric, you've got the dial here with 500, 1000 and 2000 watts down the side. Now that relates to the amount of power you've got coming into the caravan from the caravan site you are on. For instance, here on site we could run the heating on 500 or 1000 watts without any problem. However, some caravan sites have a lot more power available and they can allow you to run the heating at 2000 watts. Once you've got the heating turned on, you control the temperature of the heater with the black dial in the centre here. To turn it back off, you spin it round to the 0 position in the centre. The heater itself is actually down below, and you can run this heater as a blown air unit, so the heat comes out the vents around the caravan, just down the bottom there underneath the alarm sensor. So when the dot here on the control on the top left hand side of the heater is on the dot in the centre, the heat will actually come out the front of the heater itself. If you want to use your blown air, you can turn the blown air on by putting it onto the wave symbol on this side. You can control the fan speed a bit like in your car with the dial on top. If you want to have automatic blown air turned on, or ambient blown air turned on as some people call it, you can actually then have the heating turned on, but you can control the fan speed on top the same, but it'll actually cut in and out automatically with the thermostat on the caravan. On the opposite side, you've got the option to run the gas heater on board the caravan. Now, like I said, on the outside, you would need to remove the cover before you ignite anything on gas. But to ignite it, you'll hold down the gas valve here. And in the window down the front, you'll get a pilot light at around a 45-degree angle from the floor. So a bit of the similar sort of angle to what I'm holding the camera at the moment is where you need to be looking for that pilot light. Once it's ignited, you'll slowly release the gas valve, and you can control the temperature of the heater on gas on the dial on top. It's a bit similar to your barbecue, for instance, if you've got a gas barbecue. This is a fridge control panel now that we come to, and you've got your main power button for the fridge unit down here at the bottom, and you can turn it on and off by pressing and holding that power button. We've got an icon here on the screen at the moment that indicates we're connected to mains power, and on the right hand side we've got the temperature control for the heater itself, for the fridge itself. If you need to change the power supply you're using, you can press the button on the right hand side, and for instance when you're towing you can put it onto 12 volt mode to allow the fridge to work as a cool box as you're travelling down the road. You press it again and it will take you onto gas mode. You'll notice it's got a blue light here, which is also the power light for when you're on 240 volt or 12 volt. However, when you go onto gas mode, it's actually the pilot light for the fridge system. If it failed to ignite, you get a fail code here with a number 9 and a spanner symbol next to it. If that ever does happen, I'd advise you go to the hob, bleed the hob and get the gas through on the hob system and the cooker, and then come back and reignite the fridge. That's probably one of the reasons why it won't ignite. But if you do have any further problems at that point, please do give us a call and we'll walk you through it in a bit more detail. To turn the fridge off, press and hold the power button, and the fridge will turn off. Going into the washroom now. We've got a pump flush or electric flush on the toilet itself, so you press the button and the toilet system will flush. You've got a full indicator light for the toilet waste cassette on the outside, and at the bottom of the toilet you've got a grey waste handle which you'd push open by pushing the toilet handle across. The next part of the video is actually going to be a motor mover demonstration from the outside of the van. I'm actually going to say goodbye though. But if you, like I said, if you carry on watching after this, you'll see the demonstration for the mover. But if you have any further questions on the caravan, please don't hesitate to give us a call here at the Caravan Company. And we hope you enjoy the caravan, and thank you very much for the business. Bye bye. To engage the motor mover against the wheel, you're first of all going to need your motor mover engagement bar, which is this one here, that you're going to put onto the nut on the side of the van. Lock the motor mover over into position. And that will allow you to operate the motor mover once the power is turned onto it. At that point you can come round to the front of the van and take the handbrake off, as you can see here. Disconnect the water from the side of the van before we try and move it, and do also the power lead out the side. Then to get the motor mover to turn on, you've got the power switch here in the locker, which will turn 90 degrees to turn the power supply onto it. Once you have the power turned on the control inside the battery box, you can actually double press the red button on the controller, and at that point you'll be able to move the caravan forward, backwards, turn, 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 and turn. To disengage the mover, you'll turn the power off on the controller with a double tap here. Then you can turn the power off in the side locker, put the handbrake back on, and you'll disengage the motor mover from the wheel down the side of the van. And that is the end of the demonstration for the motor mover. Thank you very much for watching.